had an opportunity to come with him today, and I wanted to be here and stand witness to what was going on. I am extraordinarily proud of my husband for so many reasons, never more so than today. So what was going on in those courtrooms is absolutely unacceptable. The individuals were being told that their cases were dismissed without understanding what the ramifications were for that judgment. They're said, your case is dismissed. And then they say, oh, well, you don't have status. And they do not explain. In the cases I observed, there was no explanation that that meant that person was subject to immediate removal upon going in the hallway. The hallways are full of volunteers, amazing volunteers standing up for people, and of ICE agents and other agents that are not, their affiliations not indicated. They're in full regalia. They have masks many times pulled up to the bridge of their nose. And it is a place of intimidation. It is a place of fear. It is not, I mean, we are standing near the courts and the other things. This is not a way we do with rule of law. This is not the way people are treated in the United States. And so I feel really rattled and scared. And my husband is a candidate for mayor, is an elected citywide official, is a U.S. citizen, has a U.S. passport, and I know in all likelihood he's gonna be okay. And all of the other folks in that building are risking having their families torn apart with inadequate explanation, and it's an abomination, and it is not what we stand for in this country. It is not right. This is a place where the rule of law is supposed to work. I was able to call our attorney and retain him immediately for Brad because we have the connections and the means to do so. Nobody else in those courtrooms has that. So I am confident that Brad's going to be out soon and am very proud of him for standing up. This is just one more example. Brad's values in action. He doesn't just talk the talk. He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk, he cares about what happens to people, and he is going to show up and be there for people. This is just one more example of what he does and what he will keep doing, and it's a really sobering and upsetting situation that I haven't quite processed all the way yet.
Meg, can you we've seen the video, everyone's seen the video at this point, but can you walk us blow by blow from your vantage point into exactly your view on what happened with this specific incident?
So we were in a courtroom. The judge's initials are TAP. I don't know her full name. She had chastised us for coming into the courtroom. We were there with an attorney, with another reporter. I don't know where Courtney went. But we had walked into the room. She chastised us for coming in and out of a public courtroom and said that in the future she was planning to lock the door of her courtroom. I was listening to the case of a man whose native language was Yoruba. The translation was in French. She said that she dismissed the case. He did not know what was going on. This is not the individual who Brad accompanied. This was the person before. The attorney for the government said to the judge, I don't think he understands. Can you please repeat? She did so. It was clear he had no understanding. And then he was taken out into the hallway. Then we were told there was another person. I'm not aware of the details of that gentleman's case. He came out. The folks were speaking to him in Spanish, were trying to explain the direness of that the fact that they had dismissed his case meant, although they did say to him in the courtroom, you have the right to appeal this decision, you will have a month to do so. They give him a date in July. So the guy thinks he has a month to appeal. Nobody says ICE is waiting for you on the other side of the door. So there's an effort to explain that to him.
Marcia, Meg, please keep going.
Okay, and Brad and some other individuals link arms with this individual, and then we are swarmed by a number of agents. I do not know from what agency they are from. Again, they're masked, they're in full uniform, they're full regalia, and they said, you are obstruction, you need to let go. We said, we need to see a judicial warrant, we need to know your name, what is your badge number. They refused to give that in any case, repeatedly refused that. And then I actually was shoved out of the way and pushed out of the way, and then you could see what happened on the video after that.
Hey everyone, I'm going to ask everyone to take one step back. If you are a camera with a microphone, we have a moat box you can plug in right now. Sorry. Yes, I'm going to give you a minute, but need to keep a couple ground rules. This is Meg Barnett. This is the controller's wife. Just everyone give us a moment. Meg Barnett.
Give us a second to get.
I am giving you all a second. Thank you, but if you...
Ken, do you still have audio? Testing 1 2 3 1 2 3
Yeah.
4 5. Ken 1 2 3. What's that? You don't. Just plug into the mold. Just plug into the mold.
Okay. We are going to give everyone a couple more minutes. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. I am waiting for Pix 11. Waiting for...
This might just cord to there. Cord to there.
No, you're okay. I just want a couple ground rules. This is very overwhelming, and I want everyone's like arms not. Thank you.
Everybody have speed? Everybody good?
Everyone good? 1, 2, testing. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we're going to continue with the controller's wife, and then afterwards we're going to have the public advocate, Jamani Williams. Thank you.
We're going to start from the beginning.
We're going to do name and intro. We're not going to do the whole thing all over again. We have video that you can get if you need it. Okay. Go.
So, Meg, picking up where we were, did you have any indication as to, no, Marcia, we were here and we're doing this. Do you have any indication as to when Brad will get out? Do you know anything? Have they told you anything?
I know that when Brad went into the elevator, and I will start over for you. I know that when Brad went into the elevator, one member of his security detail from the NYPD was with him. I know that he is being held in the building. I'm not sure on which floor. And we have been told that he is well, and I don't know when he's expected to come out.
Thank you.
What are they telling you about why? Can you tell us what happened? Were you with him?
I was with him. So let me say again, my name is Meg Barnett. The last name is spelled Barnette. I am Brad's wife. I joined him today because this is the third time that he has done court watching here, and I have been moved and horrified and found his stories very compelling, and wanted to be here with him to witness for myself. What I saw was shocking and unacceptable and not in accordance. I am an attorney. I haven't practiced law in a while, but I sure know that what I saw today was not the rule of law. That was not due process. I know, and the way people are being treated is absolutely unacceptable in this city, in this country.
So what happened exactly?
So, and I guess, but before, I just do want to say again that I am extraordinarily mindful right now of how many privileges Brad and I have. He is being held by ICE and someone else. I know that he is a citywide elected official, that he is a citizen of this country, that he holds a U.S. passport, that he is accompanied by a member of the NYPD right now who has his welfare at interest. Like, I was able to call a friend, a lawyer. I was able to get that because of the means and connections that we have. Nobody else in that building who's facing those situations has that. And that they are, I mean, I'm just very, very aware of how I feel right now, having watched Brad be taken away and knowing he's going to be okay, and it's going to be okay. And for all those other families in there, they can't say that. And that's hard.
When he was taken away, he said to the officers, "You can't take arrested American citizen asking for a judicial warrant." What was going on when he said that?
Brad requested, we were told, and it was our understanding that as the officers were taking one of the respondents, that we were able to ask them their name, their badge number, ask for a judicial warrant, which was evidence of the grounds for the deportation. We asked repeatedly. Brad, the gentleman in question, I don't know the details of his case, but Brad had linked arms with this individual, as well as some of the other really very thoughtful, intentional volunteers, many of them who were rabbis, including Brad's rabbi right over here, were surrounding the individual, locking arms. We asked, I was part of the group, and we asked numerous times for the warrant, for their names, for their badge numbers. It was unclear what agency they were from. They're in full uniform, in many cases with a mask pulled up over the bridge of their nose, and so Brad, I assume, was saying, I am an American citizen, I am asking you for the judicial warrant, you do not have grounds to arrest me.
So to be clear, the judicial warrant was for the individual, not
for the individual, not for Brad. No, we were asking.
How did you feel when you saw them arresting your husband and putting him in handcuffs and taking him away?
I mean, as I said, it's extraordinarily upsetting, and it is in line with the individual that I know and love, that his values come first, and that he will stand up for those values and do what that takes. And that doesn't mean just giving lip service to somebody. That means showing up and being there and doing what you can.
What happened with this individual's case that Brad Lander was locking arms with? Was it just dismissed, or?
Well, what's happening, again, I do not know the details of that individual's case. But what is happening, what I saw happen repeatedly there, and what I understand from other stories is continued to happen, is that these folks have pending asylum cases. They are told your case is dismissed. That sounds like good news. It is not good news. What that means is that you are subject to immediate removal upon you leave the courtroom, and the ICE agents are lining the hallway. And that is not explained to people. They are told, the people I watched were told that they had a right to appeal, that they had a month in which to do so. They were given a date. They're told by July something you have to appeal. That's what their understanding is. And in some cases, the translation was on Zoom. In another case, I am not sure that the translation was offered in the person's original language. And in any case, the folks did not understand their rights. And so that's why the person was taken.
Great. Hey everyone, we're going to be a little orderly here. I'm going to have give the Comptroller's wife a break. We're going to have the public advocate speak a couple words. Thank you.
First, I just want to say thank you to Brad Lander. Thank you. Sometimes all the power we have is to be present and to witness what is happening. And everyone of any moral character, any moral consciousness, will be thanking Brad Lander for being that witness and using what he could where he was with what he had to try to help someone. What is happening in this country, what is happening in that building, is simply unacceptable. And as we hear, most of it sounds like it's not even legal. But I want to move aside from that because it is immoral. And what we have learned is that immoral things, whether or not enshrined in law, needs to be fought back against. We should not just abide by immoral orders from an immoral president. What is happening, they are kidnapping our neighbors off of the street. They are bamboozling them, they are tricking them to tell them to come here and something good will happen. And when they hear the court news, they believe something good has happened. And then they're faced with people in fatigues with masks on their faces, and they're taken, having not understood even what just happened legally and what their recourse is. That is something that we all have to stand up against. And I'm so proud to call Brad a friend, that he will use what he had and came and say, I am going to be a witness, and step forward. So I thank him. There's a lot of leaders in this city. I hope they all step up. This is just me speaking. There's people running for mayor. I hope they condemn what's happening and demand Brad's release. Mayor Eric Adams needs to condemn what happened and demand his release. The people of New York City are looking for leaders like Brad to say we who have more privilege are going to do the best that we can to stand in the gap. This is what's happening, folks. No matter where you are on the ideological spectrum, they are not dealing with gangs and criminals and all that stuff that you've heard. This is literally your neighbors. This is literally people who keep this city going. They're bamboozling and kidnapping with masks. Can you imagine the fear and the horror that's going on there? Hopefully Brad will be an inspiration for folks to step up. This is really scary time, folks. And New York City needs to see their leaders stepping up.
Thank you, everyone. Councilmember, do you would like to speak?
Hello, everyone. I'm Councilmember Alexa Aviles, Chair of the Committee on Immigration at the New York City Council. What you saw here, people have been experiencing these several months. This is an abomination. Yeah. The violence that you witness from a citywide elected official who was simply standing to bear witness what is happening to other humans, that violence that you saw him experience. Just imagine what they do to people who are less well known. Yeah. Do not forget, they are doing this across the country. Yeah. You've seen them ripping children from their mother's arms. This is not only immoral, this is completely wrong. And this is not the country we are fighting for. And so I 100% stand here to agree with our public advocate that we need every candidate, every elected official to say this is absolutely wrong and should not be happening in New York City, and demand the immediate release of our city controller, Brad Lander. I do thank him for standing up for the voiceless. If standing up for people who are being targeted meets with this kind of violence, then you only know what is next. So I ask all New Yorkers to stand up and organize and say this is wrong, not in our city. We do not want ICE here. We have a multiracial city that is built by immigrants, on the back of immigrants, and will continue to move forward with immigrants, and we will not stand for this behavior. Free Brad Lander right now and stop this awful, I can't even think of the words, I'm so mad. And I'm so deeply saddened for his family who has to witness this, and to every other person who's getting duped in that building, who's getting taken by masked people. Could you imagine being taken by someone who won't tell you who they are, who they're working for? If they do that to Brad, they're coming for everybody else. Folks need to open their eyes. This is not a them, this is an us situation.
Can we have a message in Spanish since most of the people that
Que,
are being affected are
sí, sí, le digo,
Hace la pregunta, por favor. ¿Cuál es el mensaje para las personas que están viviendo estas audiencias y todo?
el mensaje para nuestra comunidad que habla español, que es una de las comunidades también que están enfocado a este sistema tan brutal. Hemos visto la violencia que han hecho cada día que están en estos cortes. Esto es incorrecto. Esto es mal, esto es contra la ley, contra la democracia. Nuestro controlador sí, es una persona electo que estaba ahí solamente para caminar las personas afuera. Si él
se encuentra con este tipo de violencia, me imagino lo que están encontrando las otras personas que no tienen familias, que no saben las leyes de este país. Pero a todos estamos aquí con ustedes. Esto no está correcto. Nuestros vecinos tienen que parar y decir esto no en esta ciudad. ICE es una agencia sin leyes. Pero nosotros somos una ciudad con leyes y tenemos que abocar para nuestros derechos.
Thank you, everyone. Rabbi?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rabbi Ellen Lippman. I'm the Rabbi Emerita of Kolot Chayenu in Brooklyn, and I am a proud board member of Jews for Racial and Economic Justice. I have been Brad Lander's rabbi and his family's rabbi for more than 30 years. But I didn't come here today because he was arrested. I came here today with Jay Fridge to participate as he was in providing accompaniment to people who are being taken out of courtrooms, out of elevators, out of sidewalks in this city. I learned when I came out, because I was on a different floor inside Federal Plaza, that he had been arrested. I share the public advocate's view that I have never been as proud of him as I am today, and I've known him in many situations. I have never been as ashamed to be an American or a New Yorker as I feel today, except for the uprising from all of the incredible New Yorkers who represent the good and the true and the right in this city. We are here, as Brad was, to interrupt this horror, to try to put our bodies in the line so that people who have less facility in English, less resources, less assistance might not be taken. As people have said, this situation is a horror. It is not only illegal, it is immoral, as the councilwoman said. And I can only hope that Brad's arrest will rouse more people. I hope that tomorrow there'll be 10 times as many people here at Federal Plaza to participate in this accompaniment to ensure that not one more New Yorker is taken off our streets or out of this courthouse in this completely horrific way. And let us recognize that this is a week in which public officials have been being attacked and murdered in our country. We are quite sure that Brad Lander will be freed and unharmed. And we look forward to the moment when he returns to family, to campaign, to all of what he needs to do in our world. But look what's happening in our country. I feel ashamed, and I need all of us together to return to some sense that this is a city we can be proud of. This is a city we want to live in. This is a city we want all New Yorkers to feel safe in. Thank you.
Thank you. We now have Murad Awado from the New York Immigration Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. If I were to tell you, in what country would you think this is happening in, where people are being black-bagged, snatched, and disappeared, you would never guess the United States of America. And that is what is happening today. It is incredibly, incredibly distressing about what happened to Brad Lander today at 26 Federal Plaza, but it has been incredibly distressing to see this happen for the past 6 months. My heart is with Brad Lander's family right now, who also witnessed his arrest. The Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution protects everyone in this country. Asking for a judicial warrant does not warrant your arrest. Also, ICE does not have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens. So Brad in doing what New Yorkers have been doing for weeks at this point, of bearing witness to what is happening behind these walls, was snatched and arrested for simply asking, do you have a judicial warrant for this arrest? Imagine what is happening to others who are not a citywide elected official, who do not have their own security detail. This is the moment that we have been worried about and have continuously been worried about. We need every single elected official from the local level, the state level, and the federal level to condemn this horrible regime that continues to separate families, gut our communities day in and day out. Right. They just threatened to do what they have done to LA, to New York City, and other blue cities as they call it. This isn't about safety and security, it never was. It has been about cruelty, and that is their point. We will be here, we will continue to fight, we will continue to demand that every single person's rights are upheld, because this is a message to all. If some of us do not have rights, none of us do. And we have to continue to demand that all of our rights are upheld. Every single one of our rights needs to be upheld in this moment. So when our communities are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When our communities are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. Thank you.
Hi everyone, we're gonna have Daniel Coates from Make the Road say some words.
Hey everybody, Daniel Coates, Director of Public Affairs with Make the Road New York. I want to co-sign everything that everybody has said. Thank everybody for coming out in support of Brad. What is happening here, we are all here. What has happened to Brad happens multiple times a day to so many people who have not spoken out. So we are here speaking out because of the egregiousness of ICE's actions towards Brad, but also in recognition of the dozens of people that ICE is taking every single day in ways that are brutal, equally and more so than what Brad witnessed just a few hours ago. This is intentional. But they are also acting behind closed doors, using smoke screens. What are they doing? What is happening in 26 Federal Plaza? Why are people being held there for multiple days? We learned last week, because of the bravery of somebody who was detained there, sent to New Jersey, and spoke out, right? Risked his own case to speak to members of the press, to share his experience in 26 Federal Plaza. Overcrowding. Rooms on the 10th floor that are not meant to be spent overnight, where 120 people are crammed into a room meant for far less. People are sleeping on the floors. People cannot sleep lying down. They are sitting up. People are sleeping in the bathrooms. People are staying there for multiple nights. They're not given an opportunity to change, not given an opportunity to clean themselves, brush their teeth. Dietary restrictions, medical issues are not being respected. This is the way that ICE is moving people from this area to far away, far-flung places where they are more easy to deport. That is wrong. That is egregious, it is wrong, it is a violation of everything moral, and in more cases that's going on up here, it is a violation of our rights. And so I want to thank Comptroller Lander and everybody who showed up today. But this is just one step, and we are not backing down. This is a flashpoint, and our community needs to stand up. We need to see members of Congress, elected officials, faith leaders, allies coming, unions, labor, candidates, come here. See what is going on, bear witness, put your body on the line. This is how we fight fascism, and now is the time to do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to have Assembly Member Zohran Mamdani.
What we saw this morning was Comptroller Lander asking ICE to follow the law, asking them to show a judicial warrant signed by a judge. And we have to be clear that in his ask and in their response, we saw that ICE has no interest in the law. It has no interest in order. It only has an interest in terrorizing people across this country. And in this exact moment, New Yorkers and Americans are looking to leaders to meet this moment, to showcase the courage that is necessary, the stark contrast from the collaboration and the cowardice we have seen. And what Brad did was engage in that very moment of courage. He showed us what leadership can look like. And for that, he was arrested. And we have to be clear about this. This is not about an election. This is about ensuring that we protect the city and the country that we love. This is about ensuring that immigrant New Yorkers who come here for regular check-ins do not need to fear being separated from their families in the most brutal and cruel ways imaginable. And we know that today's arrest is but one example of what ICE is doing every single day across this country. And as much as we speak about it in the context of Los Angeles, we also know that that authoritarianism is here in New York City. It is here in New York City as a public high school student by the name of Dylan was detained and taken hundreds of miles away from his mother and his two siblings. It is here in New York City that even as the courts have found the continued detention of Mahmoud Khalil to be unlawful, he still languishes in an ICE detention facility in Louisiana. And I want to commend my friend and Comptroller Lander for showcasing that cruelty in just one moment, where he asked that they follow the very laws that have kept New Yorkers safe for decades. Because no matter how much fear-mongering there is from this mayor, from this president, we know that these sanctuary city policies, this requirement to showcase that signed judicial warrant for an ICE agent to go into a school or a hospital or a city property or a property of a city contractor, it is that very law that used to be defended by Democrats and Republicans alike as it was shown to keep New Yorkers safe. And when we are asked in this moment to give up those policies, give up those New Yorkers, we know that were they to be the law elsewhere in this country, there would be more Americans who would be at home with their families. As we think about Kilmar coming home from El Salvador, we know that the municipality he was in Maryland, where he was taken by ICE, if they had sanctuary city policies, he too would never have gone to El Salvador. This today is an example of what it means to stand up for immigrant New Yorkers and all New Yorkers. And it is why I and so many others call for the immediate release of Comptroller Lander. The immediate release. A release that must occur if we have any respect for law, any respect for order, and any respect for the values of this city. Because what we are seeing today is a mockery of those very things. An act of cruelty in every ounce of every action that we saw in that video. And we need Comptroller Lander to be released, and we need immigrant New Yorkers and Americans across this country to be safe from Trump's ICE agents, no matter where they are, be it their apartment building lobby, on their street, on the subway, wherever they are as they move about their lives, because they belong in this country just as we do. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, we have Councilmember Tiffany Caban.
Hello. I'm incredibly angry to be here today. My name is Councilmember Tiffany Caban, Councilmember in Queens, the most diverse, rich borough of immigrants on the planet. And I am here to say, not just as a council member, not as somebody who has a commitment to my constituents as an elected official, but as a lawyer, as a defense lawyer, who believes in and who has built their entire career on protecting our Constitution, because it is the thing that separates us from democracy to authoritarianism. It is the thing that keeps us safe in moments like this, where we have few people in power trying to bully others in order to keep and grow that power. And let me tell you something about Comptroller Brad Lander. Today, he was roughed up, detained, and disappeared by ICE. It should not have happened. But let me say this. That is what's happening to our neighbors every single day in our communities. In my district in Queens, we had a parent put her child on the school bus. And as soon as that school bus drove away, they took her too. So Brad is not merely a person who put his body on the line day after day, without many of y'all knowing so, to escort our neighbors safely out of court. But he represents the best of our city who is out here right now putting everything on the line to keep each other safe. Make no mistake, ICE is a rogue agency. And if you are part of a government, if you are a government official, if you are a member of the military, understand you do not have to obey illegal orders. You do not have to obey. And so we are asking you to take that oath of service to your community members, to this country, to this city very seriously, and protect ourselves, protect our neighbors, protect each other. Release the Comptroller now and get ICE the hell out of our city.
We have a lot of new cameras and faces, so we're going to have Meg Barnett, the Comptroller's wife, give her statement again. So thank you, everyone. And sorry for those who've already been here. This might be repetitive.
Hi, thank you for being here. Thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you for standing with Brad, and most importantly, thank you for standing up against what's going on in that building behind us. Brad has been here. This is his third time volunteering for the court to observe the court. I have been moved and horrified by the stories he shared with me, and so I wanted to join him today, to stand with him, and to bear witness against what is happening. We sat in a number of courtrooms. We watched folks getting their cases dismissed with completely inadequate explanation as to what that means. They were told their cases were dismissed. They were not told that that subjected them to being removed forcibly by agents, masked agents that were not going to identify themselves once they stepped out of the courtroom. That is not the rule of law. That is not due process. That is not acceptable in this country or anywhere else. I am very rattled, frankly, and it was extraordinarily scary. And I know that Brad's the citywide elected official, that he is a U.S. citizen, he has a U.S. passport, he had a detail with him, a security detail from the NYPD. Like, I know he's gonna be okay, and nobody else in the building who had to experience that today has those privileges. I know where my kids are, I know that they're here, I know that Brad is gonna be safe, and so many of the people that they've mentioned, I can't help but think about the other women. When we arrived today, the elevator's doors opened and there were ICE agents getting ready to bring a gentleman onto our elevator. We stopped, we blocked that elevator door, they stepped back, and there was a young woman who clearly was with this gentleman, and she wanted to connect and give him some papers, and she was told that she could not, and they pushed her to the ground. And that was somebody she loved, and it was horrifying to see. And so I am very, very proud of Brad. I always am, and this is just one more example of him standing up and doing what's right. He doesn't just talk about it, he does it, he means it, and it's how he's been, and it's how he will continue to be.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We really appreciate it. I am looking and scanning the crowd for any other speakers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any update? I think they said that he has counsel from his individual counsel.
currently has individual counsel and counsel from the city. That is the only update we have at the moment. Thank you.
Could you say that again, ma'am? I'm sorry.
Hi, everyone. I am Chloe Chick. I'm press secretary to the New York City Comptroller. Spelling my last name is C-H-I-K. He currently has counsel from the city as well as personal counsel. We do not have an update on when he will be released. Thank you.
Have you received any indication of whether he will be charged, and if so, what the charges might be?
We don't have any other information than what I just previously stated.
Correct that you don't have any communication line with him right now?
Right now, we know that he has 2 lawyers, but no, we don't have any communication line with him right now.
Is the member of his detail still with him?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
I can get you.
I just want to say thank you to Brad. I really thank Brad for stepping up, doing what he could, what he had, where he was. And oftentimes, that just means you can be a witness. And so I'm just thankful he decided to be a witness. Hopefully, he can inspire others to be a witness as well. You hear about what's going on there. A lot of it sounds like it's just illegal on its face. Even if it's not, it's immoral. And we have a right to refuse to accept immoral laws, immoral policies. Everyone of good conscience, everyone of good moral character should step up and say, Brad needs to be released. What's happening is immoral. Most likely even illegal. They are kidnapping.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said before. Was there any update on any?
His update right now is that he has a counsel from the city and counsel from